And we're live. Just kidding, we're not live. This is different.
Just another day at the house of the Grosses.
Another day at the house of the Grosses.
I've tried to prolong this as long as I could because I'm not good with the camera and the mics and stuff. So.
The lights in the background. Yeah. It's kind of like a movie.
Allow me to reintroduce myself.
You're watching another episode of Wide Open and Personal with your host, Haley Gross.
Mom's back there recording. We're going to act like she's not there for the sake of you. Are you tired of my rambunctious ideas yet?
No, it don't matter. You pay for most of them, so I don't care.
Okay, we're going to get into this. So who are you?
My name is Gary Gross. I'm Haley's dad, and that's who I am. There's only one of me.
Are you nervous to be on this podcast right now?
A little bit, but it'll probably go away.
There's not much that makes you nervous, so this is kind of funny. Public speaking's never been your forte.
Yeah, I get stage fright, so I wouldn't make it a very good adult film star.
I'm going to have to cut out, I don't know, maybe some of this, a lot of this. I haven't decided yet because I have no idea what he is going to say, but I just need to preface that he knows nothing that is on my phone other than what he can see. And I'm concerned about what he's going to say because he's been laughing for a whole 2 days and thinking of things.
I'm pretty good at making myself laugh. It makes my wife aggravated because she can't make herself laugh, so...
You'll be laughing in the car, and we're like, nothing's happened for like 30 minutes, and we're like, what are you laughing at?
Well, what the people don't know is I got 2 or 3 personalities. So it just depends on which one you're going to get of me. And most of the time, it's a nice person, but, you know, every once in a while, the other 2 comes out, so.
Now, I've bragged on you in the last couple podcasts about how nice of a guy you were, and now you've got them questioning all of that.
Most of the time, I am one of the nicest people you ever meet.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, who are you to me? Did you say you're my dad?
Yeah, I'm her dad, obviously. But the joke was for the longest time because she didn't really look like me. She was the mailman's kid.
Not true. I'm gonna put up a picture of us in Florida with my big cheeks. Okay. People know that you race and know that you're my dad, but if they didn't, they do now. My job is to get you to open up. It's called Wide Open and Personal.
Yep.
So that's what I'm going to try to do. What do you do for a living, and what did you want to do when you were younger, and how does that compare to your job now?
Well, I pour concrete for a living, fix leaky basements, and I love doing that. We pour a lot of pools, so I actually enjoy doing that, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. So that's what, pays for all of our racing ideas, and it's been very great, we've been very blessed and grateful for that opportunity to still have the amount of work that I do. It's been crappy weather since week before Christmas, and thankfully we got a lot of jobs lined up and stuff waiting on me to do. So, very grateful to, for the career path I chose. So,
when did you start that company?
2004.
So a year after I was born?
Yep. I actually, from about the time I started working till, I'm going to say around 20, I changed jobs like you change your underwear. So didn't really have a plan. I just did whatever it took to make money. So
from 16 for 4 years, you were just whatever worked.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I did everything from detail cars, which I'm actually pretty good at detailing cars.
He likes to clean my headlights every now and then without telling me, and it's great.
Yeah, I always enjoyed it. So, and I'm actually better at cleaning cars than most detail guys are, because I had a kid clean my cars one time, and I made him bring my money back.
He really did.
I won't mention no names. I let him keep half of it for his hassle, but man, he was terrible.
It was not his career path, bless his heart, but that was not his path in life.
No, and I got so aggravated at when he brought it back that he left, and I paid him, and I was aggravated, and I called him and I had the whole truck detailed to like 100% faction by the time he got back, and I made him give me half my money back, and I said that's what a truck should look like.
And it was your work truck too, right?
Yep.
The red dually?
Yep.
When you had that?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So, what do you like most about your job?
Oh, just 90% of our work comes from Wideman Pools, and every pool is at a different location, so we're never at the same place. So, and that's what we enjoy the most, being able to go somewhere different a couple times a week. So that makes it better than sitting in one place for 40, 50 hours a week. I mean, that's what I like the most about it.
Do you like doing the concrete? You started out doing like drain tile and tar in basements, and then you transitioned a little bit.
Well, I used to tar basements, and that's what paid our bills for a long time. And I'll tell you what, that's some of the hardest work I've probably ever done, especially after it rains.
So you used to tar basements. Let's talk about that time that you didn't know someone left something in a fire, and you were warming up a tar bucket.
Well, I always tarred waterproof basements by hand. So he took a 3-pound sledgehammer, knocked all the ties off, got the basement prepped, and I didn't ever have no fancy sprayer. I just put it on by hand. And I always started a fire to heat the tar up. And I started a fire, and there was a can of paint in there, a big tall can of orange marking paint. I think it was orange. I don't remember.
You probably didn't.
Well, I had almost had this whole basement tarred, and I went to get the last bucket, and boom, the can blew up, caught my legs on fire. Well, I was young, and I got the fire out, and this is no lie, I took gas, and I put it on a rag. After I got the fire put out on my legs, and I wiped the remaining paint off my legs, I stayed there and finished the basement, and took myself to urgent care. And I had, from my knees down, both legs were burning pretty good. So,
do we have a picture of that? We don't have a picture of that?
Somewhere,
Probably somewhere. If I can find it, I'm going to put it on the screen. Maybe not, because people might get queasy. But I was like 5 or 6 when that happened.
He was pretty young.
I was young, and I remember like you burned yourself like third. Were they third? They were 3rd degree burns.
Oh, they were good burns, and I'll tell you what, that's some of the worst pain I've ever been in. Is taking, because the actual paint that was left on my legs was burning worse than the burns were, so I had to get it off. So I put gas on a rag or a glove or something, away from the fire, and I wiped it off. And the lady at the urgent care said that's probably what made my legs heal up faster, the way I cleaned them off when I did. So, but it was still pretty, it was nasty.
I guess that's like the mentality of, maybe I shouldn't tell this with my mom in the background, but you've kind of taught me to spray brake cleaner on a rag and wipe off grease on your hands and your arms. It's kind of the same mentality. That's all you probably had was gas.
Yeah, that's all I had. So
wasn't the smartest idea. Kids don't do that at home. I definitely don't clean myself with brake cleaner. But
I did finish the job though.
He did. Yeah, that's one thing I can say about you is that no matter what obstacles or something that happens, you're finishing the job. You're getting it done.
Yeah, I mean, if you tell somebody you're going to do something, you honor your word and you do it.
You got to do it.
No matter what it takes.
So that kind of, I didn't plan on talking about this right in this moment, but did that make it harder for your right knee at the time?
No, because I don't think it was all the way as bad yet. As the years went by, it got worse.
So what happened with your right knee? People that know you in real life or maybe have seen some videos. I tried the last few years to kind of keep you walking out of the videos because you didn't quite like it. But they know that you walked with a limp, a pretty bad limp. And all of them wondered. It wasn't like a Nelly limp. It was like...
Well, it's called the pimp limp because my right nut's bigger than my left one.
Oh.
To tell the true story, when I was 8th grade, I believe, right before freshman year, 7th, 8th, 9th grade-ish is when it all started. I broke it in football. And then that was okay, healed up pretty good. And then I broke it again on a trampoline, and it got infected. And I had a bunch of surgeries, and didn't do what the doctor said and didn't do therapy and this and that. And it, over the years, just got worse. And when you're that young, you know everything and you don't listen to nobody. So that's pretty much to make a long story short.
He had 18 total knee surgeries. Don't let him, simplify that.
I stayed in the hospital for about 8 months.
I thought it was closer to a year.
It was a long time. It was my whole freshman year of high school.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I got to, I was pretty much taking care of myself in the hospital because I've been there so long. They was let me, do things to myself.
What?
PICC line.
Oh.
My infection was so bad, I even had a PICC line in my chest for the antibiotics.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I mean, I'm sugarcoating a lot of this. It was, they thought they was going to take my leg off, so pretty lucky.
So you continued to work after that. You started your own business. And if anybody knows how doing concrete work is or any sort of outside labor, it's pretty hard.
It is hard, and I've seen it over the last handful of years that, some people can't do it. And I got lucky and I was able to do it. So even with a gimped up leg.
So over time that ended up making his left leg worse. Because he was so reliant on it. And then this last February, you had a double knee replacement at the age of 41.
Yep.
So how was that?
Oh, that's probably been the best thing I've ever done. So it's still healing. They said it'd take a while to heal. And I, went about 2 weeks after the surgery, I got stir crazy and got the crutches, and I went to work with the guys. I'd take
he went in the truck.
I'd take the truck and I'd take a chair so I could sit in, and I'd use crutches to get around, and I'd operate in the Bobcat and all kinds of stuff.
He wasn't supposed to.
No, but that was my own physical therapy though. So
we won't let the doctor know that. He probably actually does. He knows how you are.
Well, I think we told him a little bit, but not much. But we went for our month checkup, and he told me I was good to go to race, do whatever I wanted to do. So
yeah, I think you got I was so mad at you. You went outside and you weren't supposed to get in a car. Anybody knows that getting in a race car, you've got to swing your leg over, swing your other leg over, put a lot of weight in, and go down in the seat, right? He had modified that previously, so I didn't know how it was going to work the first time he got in his race car with the new knees, and he wasn't all the way healed yet. You're not all the way healed until about a year after.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're fully healed even a year, because I'm still pretty sore after walking on the treadmill and stuff a couple times a week.
Yeah. They say about a year, though, is what it takes to be close to fully healed from one knee.
Yeah.
So both, you can do the math there. But I went outside, and he was in his race car. I was so mad. It's like, what would you have done if you would have hurt yourself and you're the only one out here? But that's just how you are. You're stubborn.
I damn sure wouldn't have called the ambulance.
Can we talk about how I gave you caffeine when I didn't know you had already taken pain medicine on no food, and we had to tell you that was it?
Yeah,
no more caffeine.
I'm going to say second or third day of being home, fourth day, I'm not sure what day it was.
He begged for caffeine.
I like to drink those energy teas that my brother and sister-in-law have, the On Point Nutrition teas. And I told Haley, I said, hey, I need some caffeine or something. Go in there and make me one. She made me one, and
I was at work. So this was right before I went to work. I had to be at work at 6:30. So 6 a.m.
Yeah, so she makes me one, and Amanda wakes up and gives me the medicine first. And I don't know if I ate much or not yet, but I took my medicine, ate, and I think I drank that tea, and Amanda went back to sleep. And I walked in the bedroom, and I said, hey, I can walk. And
his eyes were...
Amanda said my eyes was bugging out of my head, and I'm assuming it, almost to most people it'd be like a drug or something. That's when we threw that shit away.
Yeah, he was no longer allowed to have any of that.
No more pain medicine.
No more pain. Well, you actually didn't really need it. You didn't need it past like 5 days.
Yeah, I didn't take much of it. I've never took pain medicine really, so
no.
I got a pretty high pain tolerance.
So moving on, do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have, let's see, 2 older brothers, a younger half brother, and 2 sisters.
Okay.
Yep.
So what did you guys do for fun when you were younger?
We had bottle rocket fights. If anybody around my age knows what I'm talking about, that's a blast. Take PVC pipe or whatever you want to take, 1/2 inch round, 3/4 round, and tape one end up, and next thing you know, you got a gun. And you shoot each other with it.
And hope you don't get the other person's eye.
Yeah, you don't want to get hit in the eyeball.
Did you ever get hit in the eyeball?
Not that no, because I still got both my eyeballs, so I guess not.
So you have a pretty tough head. So I vaguely remember there's a story about you in a 4-wheeler getting knocked out and your brother had to come get you. And I don't remember all the details, so you're going to have to retell it. But
No, my brother, we used to live in Elvins, and there used to be a ditch they used to ride through on a bike. And back then, the BMXs had like things you stand on the front forks. And he thought it was a good idea for me to stand on them and him ride down through the ditch. And I stood on it, and he rode through the ditch, and I fell off, and he ran over me and knocked me out and knocked the wind out of me and started toughing me up at a young age.
didn't you get hit over the head with a pipe at some point too, or a baseball bat? Was that you with the baseball bat?
My dad was making him practice swinging for a baseball game. And I walked around the corner, and he smacked me right across the forehead with a baseball bat.
You have a pretty hard head. It's conditioned now.
It's got a lot of miles on her.
Yeah.
Pretty big. It stores a lot of stuff. So
if your brother played baseball, did you play any sports?
I played just about everything I could, other than I don't think I ever got it. Played golf or nothing like that. I played baseball and football and some basketball.
You were excited when I started playing softball.
Oh yeah, it was fun.
You and I before that, even then, we would play catch in the yard.
Yeah, we never really made her do anything. And when she said she wanted to try softball, we went in for it, and she was good at it.
So how did the timeline from playing sports to hurting your knee, how did that affect you as a child?
Well, I pretty much knew I couldn't do it, even though I wanted to. I knew none of the coaches would let me do it, anymore. So it just is it's just how the cards work. So
was that hard on you mentally when you knew that you could no longer do it like the other kids?
No, because I got to start chasing all the girls way before my buddies did.
Mom's back there behind the camera.
She knows I ain't gay.
Well, you have 2 daughters, so I would really hope that you're not. Like I said, I really don't know what he's going to say on this, so I'm going to apologize ahead of time. Because I haven't told him he can't say anything. I told him I'd cut some things out if I had to, but so far it's not been that bad, so. Oh my gosh.
That why, they were all playing sports, and I was out cruising town and with all the older guys, and
you were learning how to throw pickup lines out there.
I had some pretty good ones.
So from what Mom says, you had some pretty good game, but also that you were not afraid to say anything, and you still aren't. So I think that's true. Stop moving your foot. All right. So when you were younger, you also had something else that changed the trajectory of your life. Do you want to touch on that?
No, we won't.
Okay. So let's talk about the time that you split a telephone pole in half with a truck.
Well, it's like I said, the guy I was going too fast, and I come up on him quick, and I was going to hit him from behind, and I decided to go left, go around him, and he went left as I went left, and he hit me, and he shot me down through a ditch, and I split the telephone pole like it was a toothpick.
Did you come out with bruises?
Not a scratch on me, and the truck was U-shaped in the front. So
was I little at this point?
He was 2-3 years old, roughly, at the time, maybe 4.
Did you call Mom at work?
I think I did, and she didn't believe me.
She's like, you wrecked through a telephone pole?
She said, I don't remember what it was, but I don't think she believed me until my mom called her, I think, or something. I can't remember the exact thing, but the cops came and they made a report. Nobody got tickets or anything because it was kind of like a no-fault deal, and they said, well, we'd call a tow truck and come get the truck. And I said, nah. I said, I ain't paying the tow bill, which we didn't have a lot of money back then. We lived way above our means back then. And I drove the truck straight to the body shop.
Did it look like it had been
It looked like
through
hell.
a telephone pole? It's the bumper fall. I'm just trying to imagine this.
Looked like that car that, what's that movie? Smokey and the Bandit, the dad and the son in the cop car chasing Burt Reynolds around. It was beat up. It was beat up like that car. It was messed up.
So from my understanding, that wasn't the only vehicle you wrecked. You wrecked quite a few of your mom's so bad that she had to take you off her insurance?
No, they were mine, but I wrecked them all.
Wasn't there one time after your knee surgeries that you wanted to drive in the snow and you called the cops on her?
Oh, I don't remember that.
We talk about it every Christmas.
Huh?
Took a fence out.
Oh,
She wouldn't let you drive anymore.
Oh, me and some friends was going around the corner and I slid and took a fence out. It was icy though. That's the only reason why I took the fence out.
So is this the same story where you called the cops on her?
I don't think so. I don't remember that one.
You don't remember calling the cops on your mom?
I don't think Amanda does either.
We talk about it every Christmas.
Well, going back to the question you asked earlier, when I was 11 years old, my dad committed suicide. So that's what Haley was referring to. We just won't talk about it much.
Needless to say, that did make a lot of things hard. I'll speak for him. That way it's a little bit better for him growing up, especially as a young adult. Just some challenging things came from that.
Yeah, but it made me who I am today. So
You learned a lot.
yep.
You grew a lot. So while you were a young adult, was racing a part of your life at all? Or as a child, did you go to the races?
Pretty much my whole life from at a young age until that happened with my dad. We was around it all the time. So it's pretty much, I would say it's as close as to being in my blood as it could be in my blood.
Now, your dad didn't actually drive a car, correct? He hot lapped sometimes?
He did a few times, but it was just one of them things he couldn't do it. And a lot of people that race know this. Either you can drive a race car or you can't. You can either do okay or you suck. That's just the bold truth.
Well, there's that, folks.
Yeah. You can watch the races and you can look out there and you can tell who sucks and who can actually,
Who can turn left?
who can do it without, endangering everybody else's equipment.
Yeah. Did your brother race at that point when you were younger? What age did your brother start racing?
He started racing around the time he was 16, and he started out in the street stock class, and then back then they had a sportsman class, and then he didn't much race after the accident. So he pretty much missed about at least 10 years from 94 to like 03, 04 we didn't even go to the racetrack for 10 years. So.
And then when I was born, I remember.
Yep.
I don't remember then, but yeah. I remember you guys talking about how we ended up at the racetrack more. So your brothers got back into racing, and you still had never raced a race car. I think you had hot lapped after that a few times. I really only ran the track in when it was muddy. That's all I ever did. And I just was lucky to be able to, I guess what you call maybe hold a line and do it. So would you call yourself a crew person for your brother? Yeah. Yep. I was one of his main crew guys, me and Alan King. Okay. How many years did that last? Pretty much until I started racing in about late 17. Then we raced modifieds together for a year or so, and then he went on to sprint cars. And then, so you raced, let's start there. What did you start racing? I started racing a craft by long car. It was a B-Mod. Okay. 602 crate 3-link car. So you did B-Mod for about a year. Well, I did it when I bought it in 17. I think I raced maybe 6 nights tops. And then I started racing full-time in 18. And then around 19 or 20, I got an A-Mod and a B-Mod. And then did you go back and forth between the two of them? Yeah, but once I got running an A-Mod and I really liked that horsepower, I never went back. You've always liked the big motors and no restrictors. It's not for you. I've tried restrictors, and that's I don't like it. When I pay for a motor, I want to use all of it. Even when it's slick? Even when it's slick. Okay. You cannot press the gas all the way. Throttle control, people. Throttle control. It's there when you need it. So you Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say back to the 3-link crate deal. I mean, it's just you're limited to so much. So once I moved to AMODs, there wasn't no going back.
You like the horsepower, and you liked the way that the cars were able to move, and
just
the
way,
setup, and
just learning the setup of a 4-link, and just the amount of speed difference when you enter the corner versus a B-mod was what I liked.
So your second year, you switched between A-mod and B-mod, and then pretty much, probably I'd say the end of the season, you were all the way into A-mod.
Yeah, I raced a couple big B-mod shows, and then Eddie raced the B-mod show once, and then we sold it.
So then you were into A-mods. It was about was it your 4th or 5th season that I decided I wanted to jump in a car?
Around 2022, I'd say.
It was 2020 was when I graduated. 2020. It was your 4th season.
I'm not sure. I think it was later.
I'm sorry,
than that.
21.
Yeah.
It was 21.
21, 22 is when she started racing.
Yeah, I graduated in 20, in December of 20, and raced the next year.
She's the only one sitting at this table that's ever rolled a race car, though.
This is true. What did you call me, too? Turtle?
Yeah.
It used to make me so mad. That was my name for the next 2 seasons.
She turtled it, put it on its lid.
I got it over with, though.
Yeah.
I gave Mom a heart attack when I did it, but I got it over with. So how did that make you feel to be? You have such a history with racing, not only from your childhood, but now you race a race car. Then I decided to start racing, and I'm like, your sons usually race. But Dad was blessed with me first, and then Kinley.
Well, I've blown the balls off both kids, so I've got 2 daughters. So, I mean, that's just how it was supposed to be. So, and girls can do it just as easy as boys, and she's better than a lot of men that do it. So, and maybe make some more laps and get a lot better at it and beat a lot more of them.
So first it was me that decided to race. And then Kinley is not as much of a sport person as him and I and Mom are. She tried a couple sports. She didn't really stick with them or like them. She liked horses for a long time. And then she wanted to be in a go-kart.
Well, Kinley was really worried because Kinley's, I don't know if you would say I have ADD, but I can't, Wife's back there shaking her head, but I can't sit around. I mean, I almost called, Domino was one of our main sponsors. I about called him the other night and told him I'd deliver pizzas for free if he'd give me something to do.
For reference, it had snowed and iced outside.
Yeah, I was about to deliver pizzas, and that's no lie. Yeah, and when Kinley wanted to race go-karts, I was all for it, and Amanda was worried that she's not going to be able to turn laps, and she's her first year, she did great. She didn't tear up anything, and
she didn't spin out once.
A hell of a lot cheaper on race cars than Haley was.
I like to get into situations where wheels are bent and all the front end parts are shot.
She bends everything.
Yeah, I'm hard on equipment. I've always been like that.
Honestly, though, 90% of the time, her stuff she's involved in wasn't her fault, except the time she hit me on the front straight stretch.
I knew you were gonna bring that up.
She KO'd the new car.
So let's go back here and let's explain the situation. And we're not gonna bring any names into this, but basically a guy had come over before the heat race, and I had drew like a 6 or a 4 or something.
Are you talking about your B-mod flip?
No, I'm talking about the KO that you just talked about on the front stretch with your new car. This last season, right? I think I hadn't moved home yet.
You just came home to race, I believe.
I think I just had traveled home to race and got the car ready, and he got his car ready, and the cars were there, and I drew really good, and I hadn't raced a whole lot in the last 2 seasons if you've watched anything of ours, but I started on the front row of a heat race. So the guy that started pole, I started second. He came over and he kind of was like, "Hey, I just want you to know I'm not going to do anything on the start." Should have been a red flag, but it wasn't. We thought he was just being nice. No. So on the start, we go to take the green. But the whole way around the track, from the time they let you line up on the front stretch, all the way to the back stretch and take the green,
This
he's
guy
pushing me up the track.
He's wheeling her and dooring her and dooring her, and I'm sitting back there watching. I'm going, Haley, hit him back. Come on, hit him back, hit him back. Well,
So finally, I did, right before we turned green, real hard, like made him go back down. And we went, but he was mad, I guess, at that point, even though he was the one in the wrong, that he shoved up so that I couldn't take the high line in the first corner, which is what I needed to get around him. I was faster than him.
these two look like they're going to wreck. I'm the roll behind them. So me and Tyler, I think it was Helm, let out the gas so we didn't hit them, and they didn't wreck. They took off, so we were trying to catch them.
I mean, I was at this guy's back bumper. I don't think I've ever been so mad in a race car, because I was mad that he came over and was being fake nice to me. And I thought, if I could just get right there, I'm spinning him out in front of the whole field. I'm doing it. So I'm running the car as hard as I've ever ran it at Farmington. You can ask him.
Yeah, she was doing good. I mean, she was probably the fastest car in the heat race. And the way Farmington works, when it's a little tacky and you're out front, it don't matter if you have a small big or a big engine. It's hard to pass. It's kind of one lane. And Haley was probably faster than him, and
I was catching up to him too.
And I was struggling to get around Tyler, because Tyler had the line, and all hell just broke loose.
So basically, there's one corner that gets me every time at Farmington, and it's coming out of 4. And
Me and her Uncle Tim has told her how to fix this. When you start getting tight, give that car all the gas it has and bring the ass in around. Well, she turns the wheel as far left as it goes and tries to steer out of it.
It's a habit.
It catches. And it caught us both.
So when it caught, I was in, what do they call that? The whiskey.
The wibble wobble. She was in the wibble wobble. We was going back and forth. And,
you know what I mean if you drive a race car. Like
Yeah.
you're just, at that point, you just got to let your race car go. So they had just put walls in Farmington. It's like, I think the first time that I'd raced there with walls. So I'm coming towards this wall. I see Dad. He almost misses me. I almost miss him. And then my car turns again. And
Well, me and Tyler's watching this take place. And you don't have very much time because the place's not very big. And Tyler goes high. And I don't know how she didn't hit him, because she spun all the way around to where her front end almost hit his front end. Well, I watched all that happen. And I go below her, and she spins the car around in a 180 and hits me. I was mad.
he was hot. And I'm sorry for the people on the front stretch and the fans and our
They
fans
could
from
probably
that
hear
track.
me telling her about it.
He gave me the what for so bad that my aunt told me when I got back to the trailer, your mom said not to be at the trailer right now. So she took me to the stands, and I'm like crying because I just caused a whole lot of stuff that I'm not paying for his car because I can at the point. And like, I know this is going to be a big deal.
When it was just a racing deal, and I got over it pretty quick. And I called her mom, or I told Amanda, I said, hey, call her and tell her to get out of the stands and get over here and help me fix this, because I'm racing the feature. And
My car was not fixed.
yeah, her car wasn't as bad as what we thought. It was just we didn't have no. I mean, it was needed a lot of bolt-ons.
Yeah.
But luckily, no frame damage, and it's part of racing. And I'm glad to say we got that memory together. So.
That's not the first time I've ended up on top of you too.
She has landed on me. And
I don't think was that my fault. I don't remember.
It's all been your fault.
That sounds bad. You just said a lot of it wasn't my fault.
The time you landed on me was.
So basically, if you race with your dad, or you race with your boyfriend, or you race with your
You're
husband,
gonna hit each other.
You're gonna hit each other. Like, and it's bad because, like, me, you, my Uncle Tim. If anybody doesn't know that, that's our old number 7 garage. Is my uncle, his brother-in-law.
Yeah, me and Tim's we've known each other since we've been just out of diapers. So we're really brother-in-laws now. Our wives are sisters, and we've been pretty much, might as well have been family since we've been little. So that's pretty much just, his dad drove race cars for my dad. So that's pretty much how that story goes.
That's what I was trying to get out of you earlier. I just couldn't.
It's hard to talk about all of it at once. Because I do got a soft heart, and sometimes I choke up a little bit, and I don't like doing that. So
We know. It's
Yeah.
okay. These people know too. They know now. If they didn't know before, they know now. Basically, you, me, Tim, and some other people that we've been really close to, we all end up in heat races together. Even if we don't remotely draw next, like if he draws a 60, I draw 120, and Tim draws a 2.
Yeah.
Somehow we end up in the same heat race.
it happens. It's like it's. I guess it's just supposed to happen.
I think God's testing us because we're liable to wreck into one another somehow, or get involved in someone else's wreck together, or I don't know. Memories.
Yeah, I mean, if you wouldn't have them, you wouldn't have memories. So it's just the way it is.
So, what do you do racing for? What do you get out of racing yourself?
I race because I love it, and it creates a lot of memories, and I really think it. I mean that's my drug. I mean that's my drug of choice. I don't drink, smoke, nothing like that. I like to eat. It's pretty obvious, but don't do no drugs.
Never been a drug addict, but I like to eat.
Like biscuits and gravy, just not wiener gravy.
Tell that story.
All right. It's called wiener gravy, and it's PG. Okay,
I didn't know about this until I got home, and we're sitting at dinner, and he's like, "Hey, you ever tried wiener gravy?"
I'm not bringing up any names. Everything was delicious, but that.
So what happened? You went to breakfast.
We went to breakfast, and I've been trying to get in a little better shape, and I've been going to the gym, lifting and walking, and trying to get in a little better shape. And as you get older, your belly gets bigger and everything else. And I've been trying to work some of that off, and I am starving. So I go to the gym at 6, 7 o'clock this morning, and it's 10 o'clock before we get to this place. And I should have ate something before we got there. Well, I'm really good at making sausage gravy. Like I could probably sell it.
If there's anybody around us and it's breakfast time, like
They
the next
come to
few
me for
days,
breakfast.
he makes them a bowl of gravy, or they come to him and get gravy.
Yeah,
because
I'm the biscuits and gravy guy and the steak sandwich guy.
you also like cooking for people. You just like cooking.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy
You
it.
like chefing it up.
Well, I had to, when I was younger, I had to cook a lot for myself. So, this is how it goes. Well, we order, and I'm trying to eat better, and I shouldn't have ordered biscuits and gravy because I've been trying to eat a little better. And so I order it, and we're sitting there, and our food comes out. I mean, I was so hungry that I demolished this plate of food, even though it tasted a little funny. I didn't pay hardly any attention to it. I just kept eating it. And I had some potatoes there that threw the wiener gravy flavor off.
Sounds bad.
It does sound bad, but it's no pun intended. And man, my wife sat next to me, and she's like, she goes, "Don't that gravy taste weird to you?" And I said, "Yeah, but I was hungry. I just ate it." And it wasn't that it was like bad, like outdated or nothing like that. It just had a weird taste.
That had a weird twang.
Yeah. Tastes like a hot dog for breakfast. And not a breakfast dog, a regular hot dog. And so Amanda's chewing on it, and she spits a piece out on her plate. And she breaks it apart. And it's a damn hot dog. So
I didn't know this many details earlier.
So now it's all comical. We can't quit laughing because I told her to Google wiener gravy on her phone, and I was like, "Nah, you better not. You might get something that you don't want to see on your phone.
You might get flagged."
Yeah. So that's the story of the wiener gravy.
Definitely don't look it up on Facebook.
Yeah, I don't even know how you would ask a restaurant that.
Do you serve wiener gravy?
Yeah. Please don't eat it if they got it. Hold
on. If you like wiener gravy, hot dog gravy, I don't even know what you call it. Like, it's not regular gravy. Comment down below because we want to know what you weirdos like. Or if it's a thing anywhere else, because we've never heard of it. I don't eat gravy. I'm weird like that. But
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty disappointed about that wiener in the mouth.
I'm not sure you can say that. YouTube might flag my video. Oh my gosh. All right. So the last story I want you to tell, or the last few stories, is all the dumb things that you did when you were a teenager. So one of them being the time that you, your mom, and your best friend, Corey, put a smoke bomb in a car.
It was your mom, not my mom.
Oh, I meant my mom.
Well, we was around 20 years old, 18, 20. We was right out of high school might have been, just in the senior year. And we was dumb. We're driving down Carson Boulevard, and I don't remember whose idea it was, but back then they still might make them. They had these look like 4 or 5, 6 inch long smoke bombs that were big, like army smoke bombs.
4th of July?
It was around there.
It was around then.
I was getting ready to say, I don't know why you would have a random smoke bomb.
I don't even know how we determined who was going to get in the trunk with this.
Corey volunteered.
Corey is he's going to listen to this video because he's recently commented on our YouTube channel. By the way, hey, Corey.
And Corey's been one of my best friends. I mean, he's best man at my wedding. We're good friends, and we always will be. And
he's the one that'll do the, dare I say, dumbest things. Have the most fun.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the best way to put it.
well, we were the type that he wanted to drive. Park Hills used to have cruising, and Corey would want to drive on the girls' side, just so the guys would pick fights with us and call us names so he could go fight them. I mean, he liked to have a lot of fun like that. Call us,
Dumb fun.
yeah, call us the homo word, because we was on the girls' side. But anyway, I'm assuming he volunteered to get in the trunk and light this smoke bomb. Well, we're driving down Carson, and somehow the trunk closes, and we pull over, and we're all about to die. I mean, it's like bad. And
Lung poisoning later on in life.
So I open the doors, Amanda opened the doors. I'm out in the parking lot gagging. I'm trying to get the trunk open. He's locked in the trunk with the smoke going off, and I don't know how we didn't die. I mean, at least him. I mean,
didn't you say he rolled out of the trunk when you finally got it open?
yeah, and
just laid there.
I think if I remember right, somebody followed us in the parking lot because the car was smoking.
They thought you were on fire.
Yeah, it was bad. That was not smart.
I don't know how you didn't get nowadays, if you did something like that, you'd have the cops show up and they'd be like, ma'am, why were you smoking?
We did a lot of things we shouldn't have, which I'm sure a lot of people, did the same things too.
But back then, from stories that I've heard of other people, back then it was easier to get be young and dumb than it is now, because we have so much attention on us with phones and.
That was about the time cell phones was getting real popular. And I mean, if you had a cell phone, it looked like a Snickers bar. And I mean, that's just the way it was. There wasn't big phones you could do much on.
And you had money.
Yeah, well, they were pretty expensive back then, and things are just different now.
Got more attention on us. People video and.
Yeah, I mean, if that would have happened nowadays, you'd have had people with cell phones video in the car smoking. They wouldn't even offer to help.
I'm being honest. I would post that, and we would be rich by now.
Yeah, probably should be. I mean,
we probably should just sit you down and have you tell all of these stories.
There's a bunch of them.
So what's another one that comes to mind?
I honestly, this just happened over the summer. It's a racing story. And it's one of the, I'm kind of proud of this story because me and the guy, I won't mention no names, it happened with the track, here local. And me and the guy become pretty good racing acquaintance and friends. We talk every time we see each other. But I was racing and I started second row outside and I was going for the win in the heat race. My right front shock broke, and I rarely ever run good up there. And I'm one of those people. Either I run decent or I suck. And when I suck, I'll take the whole car apart and put it back together and try to make it faster.
He does a whole different setup.
Sometimes that's bad. And if I just listened to what Michael tells me to do, I'd probably win a lot more races than what I am now. But like I said, that ADD kicks in, and I like to go faster, and sometimes it hurts me.
Move up off the bottom at times.
Well, we're I'm trying to pass for the lead in the heat race, and my right front shock breaks. New set of shocks, and the whole shock comes apart. And I spin the car out.
It breaks bad too. Like all the oil out of the shock went everywhere, split in half.
Whole thing come apart. And so I spun out. Luckily, nobody hit me. This restarted us, and they had so many cars that night. We had to run a B main, and so I had to go to the back of the heat, and it was taking top 4. Well, I was passing this guy for 3rd or 4th, and I was all on the bottom. I mean, I could reach my hand out the window and write my name on the wall. And all of a sudden, I feel a wham, and the guy on the outside of me is running about the middle of the top, and he turns the car and he drives into me. So we let out the gas, and we split up, and he goes around, and he keeps going, and then very next corner, he almost spins in front of me, and I rip his quarter panel off. All accident. I think both of them was accidental. And, well, I ended up getting 3rd or 4th in the heat race, and he has to run a B main. So me and Haley go, she's in this heat too. I don't remember where she runs, but the track got kind of rough, so we loaded up her car that night. And
I'm not a rough track driver.
And we stayed in our pits, and I believe it's the night the Underdog was the first time they filmed us at Peevely, if I'm correct.
I believe.
But anyway, me and Haley stay in the pits, and me and her fix my car, and I'm just walking back, and this guy has to run a B main, and he pulls by, and it's not my fault, and it was just racing, and nothing was on purpose. And the kind of guy I am, I walk up to him, and he's mad, because he thought I hit him, and I didn't, and I offered to help him fix his car. Just being the type of person I am, I said, hey, what can I do to help you get your car ready, this and that, and some words was exchanged, and he says, payback's a bitch, and this and that, and I said, well, fine, if it's going to be that way. I said, I got a couple of modifieds. I said, just let me know whether we're going to race or crash them. I said, it don't matter to me. And he asked me, he said, well, I'll tell you what, you want me to just get out and we'll fight or something like that? I said,
I want to stop you there. I'm going to let you finish your story. Dad goes over, and it's like you should, but he goes over by himself without anybody knowing. And Dad's strong. He can fight if he needs to. He's not a fighter, he's a lover. But if he needs to fight, he'll fight. He doesn't want to. But at this point, you don't know. You've never met this man other than inside of his car when you've seen him. You don't know how big he is.
Well, that's what real men do. They don't take people with them when they go to figure out a problem.
Obviously, I said that was the right way to do it.
Yeah, you don't bring 19 people
You probably
with
should
you.
let somebody know, hey, I'm going over there, though.
Well, I didn't know I was going over. I seen him pull in, and I was walking by, and as he was pulling in, I didn't think any of it an issue because I knew it wasn't my fault.
ADD.
And I didn't think he would have thought it was my fault, so it was all come to a surprise. And I didn't mean that we could tear up each other's race cars, because hell, that's expensive too. But I mean, I guess
You just wanted to solve problems.
Yeah, I mean, and I by no means want to tear up anybody's race cars ever. But if someone keeps hitting me intentional, they're going to get hit. They're going to get hit back. I mean, that's just the way it is. And some words got exchanged, and cooler heads prevailed. So and now me and him laugh about it. It's funny now.
I've raced with him since then.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and it was just cooler heads prevailed. And the moral of the story is, give somebody some time when they come to the races, especially if they racing a B main, they didn't make it, and because your emotions run high. And I didn't know walking to his pit, so I was walking over to help him fix his race car, but I didn't know we might end up fighting. So I guess I was down for either one and didn't know what to expect. So this, if you're racing and you have an incident, give yourself. I was cooled off. We had already fixed my car. I wasn't even mad to begin with, and so I didn't know he was mad either. So, but just maybe not go to their pits at all. Maybe might be the smartest thing to do.
Brianna and I talked about this on the podcast. If you haven't gone and watched that podcast, it's the one before this with Bree Marie. But she said that the best thing to do is probably message the next day, or see if you see them in person the next day or the next weekend, probably wait until then.
Yeah.
But she's also a problem solver, and you and I are the same way. We want to just fix things right then.
Well,
You can't, though.
I don't hold any grudges. I don't. There's some things that happened, to me in the past that I should hold a grudge against, and I don't. And few people know what that is, and there's no need to bring that up. And
Well, these people know what it is too,
Yeah.
if they've been watching for a couple years. But
you can't live life holding grudges, because when one door closes, another door opens. So when you hold grudges, that door might not never open again. So you got to learn to let stuff go and move on, and especially hold grudges over stuff that don't need to be held. I mean, just
we're all people, and we all make mistakes, and we all do and say and make wrong decisions all the time, every single one of us. So if we don't give other people the benefit of the doubt or forgiveness, we can't expect it from them either.
no. And like I said, I'm the nicest. I'll do anything for anybody. So, and then there's that part of me that sometimes I get taken advantage of, and then there's been times that I've had enough, and you know when I've had enough, and most of the time that don't come out. So
It doesn't, but when it does, I promise.
I try not to be that way anymore, because that's I'm 42, not 20. So
You don't let the hot head come out, the smoke come out of your ears?
it has, but I cool down a lot faster than I used to, and I try not to let it happen with racing, because that's supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Racing we make memories with it.
Yep, and I'm very hard on Haley, so like I cut her no slack. I really don't. And people might think because I'm a nice guy, I do. I'm harder on her than I am anybody.
Really?
Yeah.
You're admitting that right now?
Oh yeah, she can tell you that.
Well, I wasn't going to say that because it looks bad if I say that.
Yeah, I am, and that's what part of what made her as strong as she is now, I believe. So, it might have caused hard feelings younger, but I think it's paying off now.
It definitely did at first. I was like, I don't understand. Well, for example, I guess we'll tell a short story really quick. I was a pitcher when I started playing softball, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't put in the work like I should have most of the time. I could have been a really great pitcher.
Oh yeah, she had what it took.
I could have been really great. I mean, they took me to lessons, to a couple different people, one for a few years and then another, and these guys knew what they were doing, and I could throw a really fast ball. I could throw a couple different, change up and curve ball and drop ball, and I could do all of those things. But consistency was not there because I wouldn't put in the time to be as consistent. He was really hard on me with that because they had put a lot of time into me doing those things.
Well, and a lot of that goes back to racing too. And I won't bring up any names, but when Haley went off with racing for a little bit, he was able to teach her and show her things that I couldn't, because we fight. I mean, we don't understand each other in that aspect. We don't fist fight or nothing like that, but there might be a couple verbal gestures thrown. And,
some middle fingers out there and walking out of the garage slamming the door.
Sometimes you need another person to teach you from a different angle when one person can't teach you their angle, because there's no different to pouring concrete. There's 100 different ways of doing it, as long as the end result turns out to be the same. If that's about the best way I can explain that. So like to this day, I mean, if I take my race car apart, I'll take the whole left front apart, I'll clean it, I'll service it, and I'll put it back together. She takes the whole race car apart and leaves bolts there hanging everywhere on the car.
But that's how my brain works. Like, I know what I have to put back together. You and I are different in that aspect. I know what I got to do, and you know what you got to do. And as long as we get it back together, we're good.
Yep. As long as it's in the end, it's the same. Because, you know, I take racing, you know, I'm never going to be a Michael Long or a Mike Harrison. I understand that fully. But I want to give myself the opportunity to have the best equipment I can put myself in to, you know, do as good against those guys as I can. And that's what it's for. That's not about, you know, trying to outdo them, because, you know, it's probably not going to happen. But
Would you say you like the challenge?
Oh yeah, I love the challenge. I mean, if I can get within a half a second of, you know, one of them guys' lap time or something, I'd be just tickled shitless.
He doesn't even care if he wrecked out. He just no. I was almost as fast as him.
I didn't get lapped that race, so.
And I need to preface that too. We don't go out racing with the intention of just having fun and being careless. We go out there to compete. But if something happens, it's not the end of the world.
Nope, try again.
We'll try again the next time. We're not gonna, it's not our career. We're not reliant on it. So it's easier for us to not be as hard on it. But
yeah, like I want to win as bad as anybody out there. Like when we qualify, I mean, I just now started taking advice from, you know, Michael on opening up my corner entry and when to get in the gas and out of the gas, staying in longer and this and that. And I'm very hard-headed. Like,
Extreme.
I'll be the first one to admit it. And I'm just now getting to where I'm a little more competitive than I was. And we're actually building a new race car. And if it's so much money to take to do this stuff, and we do it to win, but we know we're more than likely not going to win all the times, and we're okay with that.
yeah.
So, you know,
We're there for the experience, to do good and to make memories with each other.
and I'll be the first one to tell you, I do not like getting beat, but I know it's a good possibility when I go race with them guys, I'm going to get beat.
Do you think I get that from you?
I'd say.
So, a few things to touch on in this podcast. You're hard-headed. You're stubborn, and we don't like to be beat, but we know we can be beat.
Oh, everybody can be beat, you know.
Everyone can be humbled and beat.
Mm-hmm. And racing's a very humbling sport. Like, that's just the way it is. I mean, you might be the top dog one year, and you might be the middle of the pack guy the next year.
Or you might be the top dog that wins everything one night because God and luck was on your side. I don't know that I really believe in luck, but I do kind of believe in like racing luck. And then the next night you're running dead last because you decided you wanted to make one change to help yourself, and it didn't do that.
Or a lot of changes.
Or a lot of changes, like Gary.
Yeah. Like we went to a race towards the end of the season. It was the Reddick Memorial race, and Friday night I went down there and I was trying different shocks. I think I tried 2 shock packages, 2 pull bars.
You changed a lot, and I didn't even touch my car.
Yeah, I probably wore my motor out making so many practice sessions. And I woke up the next day, and a friend of ours come over that was helping the Reddicks, and he said, "Hey, my dad's over making breakfast. You want some?" And I said, "No, I'm pretty busy." And I had the whole car apart. I had 4 springs off of it, all my shocks. I had the pull bar. I had everything but the motor and the rear end off of it.
And the drive shaft.
And this is a God's honest truth. I put it exactly back to the way Michael gave it to me when I got it, to the T. And I went out there and went fourth quickest out of 36. So every time I change it and I put it back, I'm like, "Why'd you do that?"
Mom and I tell him too. We're like, what on God's green earth made you make that decision? Well, I think I can get faster.
That is what I say.
We're like, you were already fast. Like, we know you can get a little bit faster, but we're not looking for 3 more seconds. We're looking for like 3 tenths, 2 tenths, a tenth. Like, we're not looking for a whole lot here.
Well, I changed so much stuff on that. At that practice night, Friday night, some bitch wouldn't turn the 40-acre field.
You couldn't turn at all.
No, it looked like I was on a drag strip.
It looked like you needed to drive on asphalt. Oh. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, what you asked me all the questions. What's your plans for racing in your future, and what do you got plans for the rest in your future?
Well, this is supposed to be your podcast.
I asked you a question.
Oh, wow. My plans for the future. I've always wanted to take racing further. Obviously, in the last 2 seasons, I took time off for the various reasons. It was all of my choosing. Nobody else influenced me to make that decision. I made that myself, which caused me to be kind of a little rusty in a lot of aspects of racing. So when I came home, I had kind of lost passion for racing myself, if I'm going to be completely honest, but which is kind of hard for me to say and admit. Then I came home and I realized that I could actually do good in a race car despite my being rusty, and I regained all of that love back for driving the car myself, and not just watching someone else, Dad, Tim, whoever that might be. Then I got offered that TV show docu-series deal, and they put me in a B-Mod, and I did really good at the B-Mod Bash, and that kind of lit a fire under my butt. So needless to say, we're keeping the B-Mod around. We will also have the A-Mod. The A-Mod will be the primary car this year. Switching maybe once a month, twice a month, maybe the B-Mod. The rest of the time, the A-Mod. My goal with it is to get a whole lot better and a whole lot more consistent, and hopefully make a little bit more out of racing at some point in the future. But I don't get to pick that. God does. So
Yeah, we'll see where that leads us. And I told Amanda every time she would come back home, I said, man, she can still drive. I said, she just don't do it enough. And she's better at running the high side than I am. So
I've always liked running higher, and when I started out, they would tell me, move down, we don't want you that high. What if you hit the wall? And I'm like, I'd rather hit the wall.
I hit a lot of tires in my day.
Okay, and I knew what it took to hit the tires and how much we had to fix stuff and noses and front end parts, and I'm like, I'd rather hit the wall.
If there's a bottom, that's where I'll be. But towards the end of the year, I try to get more comfortable up top, because the car likes it up there, and that's probably where I should have been most of the time. I just didn't throw them over the shoulder and do it.
Like that video insert. I threw him over my shoulder, and
so that'll be our plans. Is I'll turn one of probably the Pierce car into the TV show car, and then I'll focus on running my new one.
Both of Dad's will be A-Mods.
Oh yeah.
One of mine will be a B-Mod. One of mine will be an A-Mod. Kinley's racing a kart, and we're tossing, I'm going to say it this way, we're tossing around the idea of this season sometime or next season, and I don't know what he's had planned, because Lord knows, probably in the last 2 hours he's probably built a car in his head for Kinley, but planning on getting her in a kids mod at some point, but her primary thing will be the go-kart.
Yeah, but we would like to, for her to be in a kids mod eventually, and if, either we'll turn Haley's B mod into a kids mod and find her something else, or we'll figure it out when that day comes.
It's not happened yet, but that's the plan for this season.
We got a lot going on with them putting the new chassis, welding the new chassis together, and Michael don't have it yet, and adding on to our garage, and possibly building another garage with living quarters, and we've got our plates full.
We've got a lot.
Yep.
We're gonna end up with a lot of garage space, I think.
Oh, that's all right. You can never have too much of that.
You can never have too much. Yeah, so speaking of a lot, we have also, I don't want this thing to shut off again, because Lord knows I need to fix that, but if it does, it does. We have also, in the midst of all of that craziness with the racing and what he mentioned, the other garage that he mentioned, is we have decided that they are going to build a shop house on a piece of their property, and I am going to rent it from them. We're going to probably move one of my race cars, maybe two, maybe Kinley's go-kart in a car, whatever, into that garage, and then I'm going to live out there. Kind of gives me a
home away from home.
Home
and
away from home where I can still be here.
Because you can't. It's hard to. I've emphasized this in the past. You know, it's hard to live with your parents and have your own life at a certain age. Once you get to a certain age, and Haley's already moved out and had her own place in Cape,
Twice.
and she likes being established on her own, and she's like me. Like when I had my own chance to move out when I was a very young age, I did it.
Yeah, they didn't like when I moved out, but I did it,
Yep.
and I made it work.
Yeah, we let her make her own decisions on. Hey, if you can't make it down there, it's your own fault. We ain't paying for nothing for you. And,
Yeah.
and we don't, you know. And
There was a time when I couldn't make rent that month, and I remember I had to come home and work for Kim at her business. That was the pretty low point in that whole situation. But
you did
I
it.
made enough money to make rent,
But you
and
did
I
it.
had like $30 to spare.
Yeah, but you did it. I mean,
But that's what I thrive off of.
well, you know, we've been talking about it, and it's a lot of money to do what we're gonna do, but she's gonna, you know, make the payment on it and rent it from us pretty much, and it'll be cheaper than her going out and renting an apartment for say.
That'll never be mine.
That'll never be hers, and you know that'll be her own space, and she'll have her, you know, it'd be like having her own home just on our land. So
It'll be good.
Yeah.
Needless to say, we're busy.
Yeah,
We're
it's-
very busy.
well, not right now because there's snow on the ground. I've been stuck in the house for 2 weeks.
We're still planning stuff too, though.
Yeah, about to become an employee from Domino's.
Like we said, folks, ADD.
Steve, if you're watching and you need help, call me.
All seriousness, we have to thank all of our sponsors, not only Domino's, but Proline. We've got to thank TNT, Wideman Pools, J&M Auto Body,
Ragsdale Asphalting, Jason Jent Insurance, Sargent Construction, Brendan Smith with EDI Insulation.
357 World of Dirt that I just made a deal with. I can't remember his name. The drones.
Yeah,
I'll put it up on the
I'm
screen.
trying to make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. There's
All of our sponsors. We're
Yeah.
going to put you in the description down below, but we couldn't do what we do without you. If you can think of them, you just shout them out. But
no, I mean if people don't have sponsors, they can't do this. I mean,
CTI.
CDI, spray.
Kobe Tinsley, CTI. He's one of my friends from high school. He helped us build our house.
Spray foam and insulation.
Already got it.
EDI. Did you already do them?
Yep, and I mean we couldn't do it without every one of them. It don't matter the amount they give.
Gross
I mean,
waterproofing and more.
Yeah, he's an ass.
He's a weirdo.
Weird.
Like Brennan. Weird. Brennan, if you're watching this, I doubt you are. We miss you, bud. You should answer your text messages.
He's got him a girlfriend now. Nothing else matters.
He's young. It's okay.
Brendan was around. Brendan was great. We had a great time at the races with Brendan, and he always made us laugh. Him and his buddy, what was
Gunner.
his? Gunner. They were.
They're a hoot.
They had our stomachs hurting, and I think we're
Even more so when you guys went up in the RV and went asleep.
Yeah.
There's some stories.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah. I think where things go wrong on my end is when you have friends that help you with racing and they work for you. It's hard to do all that and be serious with work. Mm-hmm. So there has to be a fine line there, and I'm learning that the hard way because it just happened with one of my good friends from high school. So we don't hardly talk like we used to, and that does suck, but it's part of life.
You live and you learn.
You live and you learn.
Everybody says stuff wrong,
Yep.
and at the end of the day, both need forgiveness in your heart.
I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't. I won't. I'm
holier than thou.
Yeah. When I get aggravated, it's hard telling what I'm gonna say.
You black out when you're aggravated, and so do
yeah.
I, and so do Mom. So there's a lot of times that I know all of us have to apologize. Like, I didn't mean to say that. And that came out wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of being an adult, admitting some of your faults, and like I said, I'm the first guy. I'll do anything for anybody. So, if I say something and you think it's wrong, most of the time I was aggravated and probably didn't mean it because
you interpreted it probably in a way that was towards you, but it wasn't towards you.
Even if we're working and we get into it, and I tell you you're a dumb SOB and you're walking home, 5 minutes later I'll go buy your lunch. I mean, it'll be over with. I'm that guy.
3 Mountain Dews and the donuts out of the. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, we can fist fight and be friends in 10 minutes if we're not at the hospital. So.
You're not at the hospital. Yeah. Has it ever gotten that bad?
Not at work, no.
One other thing, you had earrings when you were younger.
Yeah, I had both ears. I had 2 earrings in each ear. And that was just a cool thing to do at our age. And I got into quite a bit of fights when I was younger, and I had them ripped out. You
had them ripped out? Mm-hmm. Well, we know this because if now nobody's.
I had cauliflower ear from wrestling on the same ear that the earrings got ripped out.
It's your right ear, isn't it?
Yeah, and it always had like knots and crap growing on them and keloids and stuff from wrestling, and the earrings getting ripped out, and they'd be all goofy looking, look like chewed up bubble gum. And I tried to get. This is no lie. 10, 12 years ago, maybe longer. It's probably been longer than that because we've been here 17 years.
I was young when you got it all removed.
We lived in an apartment in Farmington, and I had my ear all swelled up and knotty looking, and people would look and point and talk about it because it was goofy looking.
We didn't notice it, but he did. Yeah, other people did.
I took a razor blade and I tried to cut the thing off. I had to go to the emergency room and get them to have it.
Why did I never know that? Stupid crap that you would do.
Yeah, I took a razor blade and I tried to whack her off in my own ear, like the knots on my ear, and I had to go to the emergency room and I had to do. I don't remember what they did. They took some kind of thing and
Was it glue or did
they cauterized it?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I never knew that. I'm honest to God, I never knew that. But it makes sense.
And I won't go to the hospital for nothing. You can ask Haley. I blew my finger off with a sledgehammer working on the garage one time.
Alex and I were taking your left front apart on your car 3 or 4 years ago. And I just did this the other day to some extent, but I didn't hit my finger off. Yeah. It's just something dumb you do. He had the jack underneath the A-frame.
No, I had the chain on it, just like you did the other day.
I think you had the jack under it too. So when you were hitting it, you didn't realize that it wasn't allowing the ball joints to come out of the spindle.
Yeah. I mean, I was whacking the crap out of it.
He was whacking it. So he had one hand. It was your left hand, right?
No, right hand.
It was your right hand. He's left-handed, so he's hitting it with his left hand.
I mean, I'm wailing it.
And he puts his right hand on the rotor.
No, it was the A-frame.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
And he just hits it. And I mean, like, instant, almost, I think it was all the way to the bone in one part. You could see the bone.
You could see the bone. My fingertip was hanging off.
So Alex is like about to throw up.
I told him to get me some rag and a tape.
I like that stuff. Obviously, I work in the medical field. I'm like, what? Put a rag on it. Like, I'm trying to get him clean, sterile things, right? He grabs a greasy black rag that he got from the car wash. I'm going to put that in there if anybody has a.
Around my finger.
Yeah, he cut it up real quick. I mean, his blood is everywhere. It's all over the floor. It's all over all of his front end parts. And he's like, grab me another rag, grab me some duct tape. And I'm like, hold your finger together. Like, hold pressure on it and hold it up in the air so that it's not just bleeding out. What does he do? He just wraps it up. He continues to work.
Yep. And she's like, you think we should tell Mom? I said, nah, she's all right.
So I'm like, at least let me get you inside so that I can clean this up. And he's like, no, we're good. So for another hour, he's working on this front end and he's not even acting like it even happened. Alex and I are cleaning up the blood. We're spraying brake cleaner on, cleaning it all up. We go inside later on that evening and I go to get the stuff out to clean it. I don't even think I think Mom was in the shower when we were doing this. She didn't even know yet. So I'm cleaning it, and you're letting me clean it, and that was about the point where you're like, like it hurts. And he wrapped it up. He didn't go anywhere.
No, I just went next day, and I think I went and got some kind of glue.
You got glue.
Yeah,
I don't even think it was like...
Yeah, glued her up.
It wasn't even good glue.
No,
it was just...
It held up. It's fine. It's just numb.
It's numb. So moral of the story is, if you need to go to the doctor and you have a limb hanging off, go to the doctor.
Or tape and grease the rag and wrap it up. Probably
don't do that because you're very lucky, but other people, like if that happened to me, I'd have all kinds of infections. What other things? Don't put a smoke bomb in a car. And
yeah, that's bad. Yeah.
Don't go to somebody's pit the night that you get mad. And then there was another dumb thing that you said that you did, and I don't remember. But basically, don't rub gasoline on an open burn.
Yeah, that wasn't smart.
Wasn't smart.
I mean, I'd do things a little differently if that ever happened again.
Would you though?
I mean, it being 42 versus 22, probably. Yeah.
We'll judge that when it happens.
Hey, I even drove myself home and everything.
Yeah.
You're making yourself sound a little dumb. Let's talk about how smart he is.
He's very smart, but he's very much of a, what do they call it? What's the clean version? A jerry rigger? As far as like when he gets hurt, he just cleans it with whatever he's got.
That was how I was raised. I wasn't raised to be a puss. If you hurt yourself, you don't call the doctor, or you don't go to the emergency room. You deal with it. The problem with the world now,
he's a real man.
Well, no, it's things are different now. If you get scratched, oh God, we need an X-ray. It might be broken. I was made to walk stuff off, and that's no lie.
He literally broke his foot in multiple
6
places one time, and his mom made him go get a four-wheeler and walk it all the way back up to the house.
Only because I wasn't supposed to be riding it that day where I was riding it, and I wrecked it.
So she was trying to teach him a lesson, and she didn't think it was actually broke. But it ended up being like 3 days later, she found out it was actually broke. Then she felt bad.
Broke in 6 places.
Moral of
things are different than they are now. I mean, it's just, I guess, how the world is, how we've all been
softened,
made to think everything's the right way, you know.
I do a lot of stuff I shouldn't in flip-flops. You've always got on to me for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, my wife don't even wear tennis shoes at the races.
Neither do I. Yeah. It's fine. We're fine.
But I
toughen up.
You know, all the dumb things I've ever done. I do take what I do very serious, and I pour 100% into it. I don't go half button it on.
No, these are just some of the funny stories and the funny aspects of stories that we think you guys are interested in. But in all seriousness, you are very smart and good at what you do, and do take jobs and work and race cars serious.
Yeah.
These are just some of the funny things that have happened since.
I enjoy learning. Like, I enjoy, getting taught by Michael and them guys that know way more than I'll ever know. And you never learn. You always learn something every day, no matter if it's with life or race cars. The day you're not learning something is the day you're not living. There's always somebody out there smarter that knows more. And that's just life. I mean, take advice all you can. I mean, don't be a guy that, that can't take advice, because take all of it you can. I mean,
and if you're like Dad and I, and you're not learning from the way someone is teaching you, there's somebody that can teach it in a way that you understand.
Yeah, they might be able to show you in a different way to make you understand it better than
our brains operate different.
Like that. That's what I was, referring to earlier when Haley went away for a little bit and she was able to get help from a different angle than what I could. It made her better. I mean, it really did. And it was something that I would try to help with. I would get frustrated because she wouldn't do it my way, and that's not the right thing to do either. So
we all learn.
Yeah, we learn. I mean, yeah.
Would you say these people learn some things about you?
No, I mean, there's a lot more to learn. We just told a
little bit. We'll do another episode, but would you say they learned a lot from this one?
I hope so. I mean,
a lot of things not to do, a lot of things to do, a lot of good things.
Yeah. Whatever you do, don't eat wiener gravy. I mean, yeah.
And on that note, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Watch the last podcast and our last videos. We're going to have more soon. Thank you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we will see you in the next video.